Army. And then in 73, when we actually did pull out of Vietnam, we turned over another 1,000 dogs.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's 2,700 dogs. About 300 dogs died in combat, so we're talking 3,000 dogs. And about 200 dogs supposedly left Vietnam, so we're talking 3,200 dogs. But there was up to 4,900 dogs in Vietnam.
Oh, my goodness.
So you're talking about another 1,700 dogs that were either euthanized or just abandoned.
You know, a dog in a shelter makes my heart break, but these are dogs that saved American lives.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't find out until many, many years later. They kind of hid it from most everybody, other than the people that were there at the very end. And they said that the dogs were too vicious. They couldn't come back to the States and go back into civilian population, which to a certain degree, some of the dogs couldn't. They were sentry dogs, were very vicious, but they could have been utilized in other bases around the world that we had.
Right.
Scout dogs were more on the docile side because they had to go out with the troops, so they weren't as aggressive unless they were given a command to be aggressive. Then the other story was that they did have a blood disorder, and that was true. They did come down with a blood disorder, a disease that they got in Vietnam, and it did kill some dogs. And they said, well, if they bring these dogs to the United States, they can contaminate other dogs. But the fact of the matter is that they knew all along that in the southwestern part of the United States, this disease was there, and it was being treated with antibiotics.
So there was a way to deal with it.
Yeah, so there were a lot of those dogs that could have been treated with antibiotics and brought to the States. I personally, my own feeling, because I have no proof of this, I think that they looked at time to transport all these dogs back to the States, build kennels for them, retrain them, and put them up for adoption. They looked at a lot of time and money, and they decided it was just cheaper, quicker just to abandon them.
Did any of the guys smuggle their dogs out? Was that even a possible?
No, there's a number of stories you hear every now and then that someone got their dog out of Vietnam, and I haven't been able to confirm one. I've had a couple that seemed like very plausible, but when I really checked into it, it never happened.
Wow.
It was somebody buying a dog or getting a dog and telling people that this was their dog they bought back from Vietnam.
These guys are heroes. Ron, these dogs are heroes.
Yeah, they are heroes in every sense of the word. I mean, they're saving American lives on a daily basis back in Vietnam and today. In Afghanistan, Iraq. They're doing the same thing. They're detecting the explosives before somebody steps on a IED and gets killed or loses a leg or a limb. And they're doing this on a daily basis. Matter of fact, since we've been in Afghanistan, the Army has been clearing minefields over there for the civilians, for the government, because when the Russians left Afghanistan, they left about 10 million, and that's a big number, 10 million landmines in the ground, and nobody knows where they're at.
Oh, my gosh.
They don't find out until some child or some person walks across a field or they're playing in the field, and one goes off and kills them.
Oh, my goodness.
So dog teams, the Army's been over there taking these fields where they find landmines, and they're clearing them out. It's a long and tedious process because it's only a 30-inch strip at a time and about 25 feet long.
That's
and
incredible,
The dog goes out in that strip, and if the dog detects a landmine, the dog immediately stops and sits down. And then the handler points at the dog and gives him a command, and the dog comes straight back to him, right down that path. He doesn't sway over in any direction.
Wow.
He comes back, and then they tag that landmine. Then they move over another 30 inches and do the same thing all over again.
Amazing.
So you can tell it takes a long time.
Amazing. Ron, we're out going into another break here. I want to thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for your work with the U.S. War Dogs Association. Great website, uswardogs.org. Please check it out. Ron, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Take care.